The system of Hebrew numerals is a quasi-decimal alphabetic numeral system using the letters of the Hebrew alphabet. The system was adopted from that of the Greek numerals in the late 2nd century BC. It is also known as the Hebrew alphabetic numerals, to contrast with earlier systems of writing numerals used in classical antiquity. These systems were inherited from usage in the Aramaic and Phoenician scripts, attested from c. 800 BC in the so-called Sumeria Ostraka, and sometimes known as Hebrew Aramaic numerals, ultimately derived from the Egyptian hieratic numerals. The Greek system was adopted in Hellenistic Judaism and had been in use in Greece since about the 5th century BC. In this system, there is no notation for zero, and the numeric values for individual letters are added together. Each unit is assigned a separate letter, each tens a separate letter, and the first 400s a separate letter. The later hundreds are represented by the sum of 2 or 3 letters representing the first 400s. To represent numbers from 1000 to 999,999, the same letters are reused to serve as thousands, tens of thousands, and hundreds of thousands. Gematria uses these transformations extensively. In Israel today, the decimal system of Arabic numerals is used in almost all cases. The Hebrew numerals are used only in special cases, such as when using the Hebrew calendar, or numbering a list, much as Roman numerals are used in the West. Name table. Note: for ordinal numbers greater than 10, cardinal numbers are used instead. Speaking and writing cardinal and ordinal numbers must agree in gender with the noun they are describing. If there is no such noun, the feminine form is used. Ordinal numbers must also agree in number and definite status like other adjectives. The cardinal number precedes the noun, except for the number 1 which succeeds it. The number 2 is special. Shnayim and shtayim become shni and shti when followed by the noun they count. For ordinal numbers greater than 10, the cardinal is used. Calculations. The Hebrew numeric system operates on the additive principle, in which the numeric values of the letters are added together to form the total. For example, 177 is represented as which corresponds to 100 plus 70 plus 7 equals 177. Mathematically, this type of system requires 27 letters. In practice, the last letter, tav, is used in combination with itself and or other letters from KOF onwards, to generate numbers from 500 and above. Alternatively, the 22-letter Hebrew numeral set is sometimes extended to 27 by using 5 Sophete forms of the Hebrew letters. Key exceptions by convention: the numbers chapter 15 and 16 are represented as and, respectively, in the calendar. This manifests every full moon, since all Hebrew months start on a new moon. Combinations which would spell out words with negative connotations are sometimes avoided by switching the order of the letters. For instance, 744, which should be written as, might instead be written as or. Gershayim. Gershayim are inserted before the last letter to indicate that the sequence of letters represents a number rather than a word. This is used in the case where a number is represented by 2 or more Hebrew numerals. Similarly, a single geresh is appended after a single letter to indicate that the letter represents a number rather than a word. This is used in the case where a number is represented by a single Hebrew numeral. Note that geresh and gershayim merely indicate, not a word. Context usually determines whether they indicate a number or something else. Decimals. In print, Hindu-Arabic numerals are employed in modern Hebrew for most purposes. Hebrew numerals are used nowadays primarily for writing the days and years of the Hebrew calendar, for references to traditional Jewish texts, for bulleted or numbered lists, and in numerology. Use of final letters. The Hebrew numeral system has sometimes been extended to include the 5 final letter forms, and which are then used to indicate the numbers from 500 to 900. Thousands and date formats. Thousands are counted separately, and the thousands count precedes the rest of the number. There are no special marks to signify that the count is starting over with thousands, which can theoretically lead to ambiguity. Although a single quote mark is sometimes used after the letter, when specifying years of the Hebrew calendar in the present millennium, writers usually omit the thousands. But if they do not, this is accepted to mean 5*1000, with no ambiguity. The current Israeli coinage includes the thousands. Date examples: Monday, 15 Adar 5764, plus 400 plus 300 plus 60 plus 4, and 15 equals 9 plus 6. In full. Monday, 15 of Adar 5764, common usage. Monday, 15 of Adar 764. Thursday, 3 Nisan 5767, plus 400 plus 300 plus 60 plus 7. In full. Thursday, 3 of Nisan 5767, common usage. Thursday, 3 of Nisan 767. To see how today's date in the Hebrew calendar is written, see, for example, Hebcal date converter. Recent years: 5780 equals 5779 equals 5772 equals 5771 equals 5770 equals 5769 equals 5761 equals 5760 equals. Similar systems. The Abjad numerals are equivalent to the Hebrew numerals up to 400. The Greek numerals differ from the Hebrew ones from 90 upwards because in the Greek alphabet there is no equivalent for Zadi.